Hey guys, Crypto Sunday, and it's the first one of 2024. Happy New Year. It's slightly green for me, although I've made a sale as well. So I'm up about £1,000, but I've made a reasonable sale, which some of you may be able to guess by the order of these holdings. But yeah, we'll come to that shortly. But let's have a look at the news. So it's fairly jam-packed news week. BlackRock sort of leaking supposedly to Fox Business that they expect their ETF to get approved on Wednesday. Whether that means sort of Monday isn't going to be a particularly big day. Some were expecting sort of all of them to get approved on Monday, ready for trading sort of on Thursday. But yeah, whether they can approve them on Wednesday for trading like the next day, I don't know. Or maybe it'll even be trading the week after. I kind of thought they'd be trading next week, but we'll have to see. But yeah, that was sort of just a small bit of news, really, that they expect it to go through, and sort of that's what the rumor mill has been for the last couple of weeks, and yeah, it's been pushing Bitcoin up slightly. It's been very volatile up and down. So yeah, we'll have to see on Monday, or well, by Wednesday at least. So the CoinShares report for this week is actually one for the whole of 2023, which I'd rather sort of see the, they give year-to-date figures and full-year figures in the weekly reports. But yeah, they've done one for the year. But they do give this weekly sort of summary. They don't break down the whole numbers, but had sort of a very slight negative week a couple of weeks ago, and then sort of back to two reasonably positive weeks, sort of 200 and it looks like 240 million in the last week. Not sure whether this last gap is a 0 week or whether that just hasn't been filled in yet. I'm guessing that is just awaiting data. But looking at the sort of yearly figures, there's some interesting bits and pieces in there. Multi-asset funds were actually down for the full year. So that's interesting. People not wanting to sort of hold multi-asset funds, or maybe they're sort of, I don't know, just not really being favoured by the providers and brokers. Solana saw a reasonable inflow, 167 million. You notice all of the inflows combined are sort of just over half of the total assets under management. Guessing that is capital appreciation, of course. Whereas, Cardano's, you're looking at sort of nearly 150 million of inflows, and it's worth 69 million due to sort of price drops from the 2021 time. And yeah, we've sort of got Ethereum with a fairly small inflow after a sort of, I guess, fairly small outflow in 2022. So it's fairly quiet compared to sort of previous years. Not really a whole lot going on for 2 full years. Bitcoin, however, 1.9 billion. So very nice. So with the Bitcoin ETF sort of pretty much nailed on, everyone's thinking, all eyes are turning to the Ethereum ETFs, spot ETFs that is. Bloomberg analyst James Seyffert, one of the guys everyone is following on this, says that essentially the SEC allowing futures ETFs for Ethereum is sort of implying that Ethereum is a commodity, which is something they haven't really come out and said, but sort of basically saying that allowing futures ETFs based on an unregistered security wouldn't be sort of something they would do. So it's sort of not saying it in so many words, but implying that it's a futures ETF based on commodities futures. And CFTC, Commodity Futures Trading Commission, has called Ethereum a commodity outright. And the deadlines aren't actually that far away because sort of people like VanEck and ARK obviously sort of seem to be first on everything. They got their applications in quite early, so you do have a final decision for those in May this year. So yeah, no more sort of delays by May. You've got the January the 10th Bitcoin ETF, and then people will be talking about 4 months to go until final decision for the Ethereum ones. So potential for those to go through as well. You'd think they may, if they've approved Bitcoin, maybe they'll do it quicker than May. But rather than just sort of pointlessly keep delaying them as they have been, 45 days, 60 days, and that sort of thing. So yeah, we'll see. Good news though. This is a really weird one that I didn't quite understand. Somebody has been sending Bitcoin from Binance to Satoshi's Genesis wallet because it's publicly known. It originally had the 50 Bitcoin that was mined when it was first created. But it's a public wallet, and somebody has sent 26.9 Bitcoin worth over $1 million to that wallet. They paid a $100 fee, which is sort of far above average. Whether this is just a really weird sort of flex, it's unusual. Conor Grogan, director at Coinbase, said either Satoshi has woke up, bought 27 Bitcoin from Binance and put it into his own cold storage, or somebody just burnt $1 million, sending over $1 million worth of Bitcoin to an address that they're never going to get back, because sort of the general thinking is that all the Satoshi wallets are sort of basically dead and will never be touched. The sort of total of the supposed Satoshi wallets do contain 1.1 million Bitcoin, it's thought to, so worth $47 billion. Obviously, one day people are always going to be wondering whether those wallets will be accessed and that Bitcoin sold. Whoever the creator of Bitcoin is, whether it's one person or a group, has never actually, it's thought, is never actually cashed out and sold anything. So you would think that's a little bit strange. Or maybe it is Craig Wright and he is coming to sell eventually. But yeah, very, very odd. Somebody's potentially burned 27 Bitcoin, basically. So Visa pushing on. They have been sort of exploring crypto and blockchain in quite a few different ways. They've been sort of testing on Solana, among other blockchains, and they've now created a digital wallet, a Web3 wallet, as they're sort of calling it, saying that companies can sort of build things, and I think they've got software to sort of let other companies license it and build their own things, build their own sort of programs to link with it. And they're sort of not saying that they're creating a new cryptocurrency full on. They are having Visa points, which I think is just going to be a sort of a non-crypto loyalty program, basically within the wallet. You'll get Visa points. But yeah, they have sort of said they'll be using various blockchains. There was an article on Crypto Slate, allowing brands to create their own custom branded crypto wallets, I think based off Visas. So there will be a sort of a template for other people to use, and yeah, customers can earn, redeem, collect digital assets which can be interacted with in augmented reality, located on maps and all sorts. So yeah, this is pushing more towards intelligent NFTs, dynamically minted to a number of leading blockchains. Presume this means the ones that they have been testing, so potentially Solana, if it's Visa obviously will be expecting a huge amount of volume for things like this, and Solana would provide that volume, but they obviously want to they don't want to rely on a single blockchain, but operate across multiple blockchains, providing flexibility and broad compatibility. So it's always what I've had in mind, and a lot of people have been saying for NFTs. It wasn't, meant to be sort of just JPEGs of random monkeys and that sort of thing. It was, loyalty programs and, various smart things that brands may want to leverage, and they can now put it in Visa's own wallet. or even brands, license their wallet themselves, and maybe everyone will start having a wallet. I'm not sure if I would think people will want that, start having, 10, 15 different crypto wallets. You'd think one that links with all of them would be far better, but it's a evolving space, of course, and well done Visa, I suppose, for pushing on and not making their own, private blockchain. They're sort of, as they say, minting to a number of leading blockchains. I think this is part of the sort of negativity towards Ethereum at the moment. You've got some of the bankruptcy selling sort of going on. Celsius had $470 million in Ethereum, and they're unstaking it ahead of repayments. Hasn't quite said whether they're going to be distributing that. They're saying distributing to creditors, but whether sort of bankruptcy court and that sort of thing would require them to sell it to cash and give people the cash. Don't really know. You'd expect if people held Ethereum on Celsius, they would want their Ethereum back because it could be much higher price now. And, it's not as if selling sort of 470 million would make a massive dent in the price. That's about 10% of daily volume. So if they dump the whole lot in one go, it could sort of provide a short-term drop, but I don't think it'd be catastrophic. And if they spread it out sort of amongst multiple days, then yeah, it probably wouldn't make any difference at all. And it's just getting a bad actor sort of out of the space. So I think positive overall, but it's just been things like this have been holding back Ethereum and various other blockchains as well. Bitcoin, some exchanges have had an awful lot of Bitcoin that have gone bust, and some had, FTX have got their Solana bag, so people are always sort of worried about that, and it doesn't really seem to turn out that bad. They sort of sell into the market over time and try not to push the market too much, and by the time people are sort of still talking about it negatively, then they say, oh, it's actually already happened. So, yeah, hopefully that's the case with this, and we get Celsius gone, and start to get all the rest of them, Voyager and BlockFi and people like that, and we can move on. Probably, with traditional finance companies, unfortunately, but that's the way it was always going to go, I think. So if you hadn't guessed what the sale for the week was, it's Powerledger. This has sort of been rocketing up really over the last week since, New Year's Day, and there hasn't been too much news that I can see other than this sort of upgraded Xgrid 2.0, which is sort of a incremental update to their energy trading platform. They're sort of saying that it, enhances flexibility and sort of modernizes the experience. And I'm not really sort of sure this warranted quite as much of a rise as it has been. Sort of watched a couple of videos sort of showing that it's not really getting traded on decentralized exchanges. It's basically just the main centralized exchanges, people like Coinbase buying in. And whether it's sort of because of this alone, I didn't really think, it's not as if you're seeing big companies saying we're going to use Xgrid 2.0. It's just they've put it out there to the public. Obviously, green energy is sort of a something people are pushing towards, and that's why I've always held on to this for quite a few years now. But certainly sort of in the last month or so, I mean a week ago, it was 36 cents, and it rose up to sort of over $1. And in the last 7 days, so I sold a third of my holding at $1.07. So sort of within a couple of hours of that, it was already looking like a bad sell and sort of still rocketing up. But it has since dropped down and is still dropping down. It's now at 81 cents. So quite a bit below where I sold this morning. But interesting to sort of see where that goes. It was doing sort of similar to most altcoins, had a bit of a pump earlier in the year, and sort of lagged and was still below that point even in October compared to sort of Bitcoin, which was very much up. But then sort of started to get going in October with the rest of the altcoin push. But then this last week has just gone completely vertical. So I took the opportunity to take a bit off the table, sell a third of that, and I have just sold it to cash. Didn't want to sort of swap it into another crypto. Sort of unsure on what exactly I'll do with it at the moment. I may sort of be thinking about putting it into options if some of those come down. The sort of gold and silver stocks certainly have been coming down towards my buy prices, and sort of potentially lucrative opportunities with sort of gold especially, being at sort of $2,060. I think that's a great price for the miners to be so low. But yeah, sort of unsure on what I'll do with that. I may put it in savings for a little while and see if we sort of get a bit of more of a stock downturn in the next month or two. So looking at coins for the week, it's a very, very mixed bag. Bitcoin is sort of pretty much the only green other than Powerledger, up 3.8%. So very nice, waiting on the ETF news for next week. Solana is down 10%. That's sort of kind of expected, I suppose. At some point it was always going to have a bit of a pullback. Ethereum 2.29% down, not too bad. Chainlink 11% down. Cardano 13.7% down. So there are some reasonably big reds at the moment. Powerledger, actually, this hasn't updated yet. It's now 80% up for the week. It was a great deal more, and that was looking like a reasonably good sell now. If maybe I should have sold a bit more, but you always wonder. I was thinking maybe half of it. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see where that maybe that will go back up on the ETF news. Yeah. XRP 8.9% down, Matic Polygon down 14%, Audius down 21%. That's the worst for the week on Audius. Quant down 15%. That's pretty rough. Ethereum, Internet Computer down 10.3%. Gala 14.4%. Basic attention token 4.6. That never really moves all that much either way. VeChain 14.8% down. So yeah, hell of a red week for altcoins. I mean, nothing too much. It's been far worse than that before. But considering Bitcoin's up, I would say quite a red week. But we'll see. Potentially, I guess if the Bitcoin ETF does go through, I'll be revisiting yet again the Bitcoin to Ethereum ratio and potentially making that switch, depending on sort of what move we get. If people start getting really excited about the Ethereum ETF, then I don't know, maybe it won't come down quite that much, but I'm expecting sort of a reasonable move, and I may make that switch of sort of 0.6 Bitcoin to Ethereum. So we'll see. Don't know what I will put on the title now, because I think this is quite a bit down from 302 and would actually be a red week overall, even excluding the sale that I made. So yeah, we'll see. So leave your thoughts in comments below and like and subscribe. See you soon.